going to start off. This is our pod racer. This is what we're playing with to work with our Ashi Garami. So first of all, I'm going to start here, and you're going to grab my legs as well. Okay. So the person who's on the inside has the advantage. Okay. So if you're inside, no, just keep holding my legs and just pummel. Bam, bam. Okay. And then that's one of the main things I'm gonna do. So now if you get inside, I wanna go the other side, I wanna keep my elbow tight. Okay? So now you gotta kind of swim inside, push, and then yes. Okay? Bam. Okay? So whoever's inside is gonna have the advantage. So then I'm gonna get to my single leg ashi. I'm gonna control up, scoot a little bit, come around, foot on the hip, and come across here. Okay? Single leg ashi. Okay? This is our main sort of control position. And I'm being lazy on this side. Okay? Ideally, when I'm here, bam, I should pull right into my guillotine sort of position. Little scoot, bam, bam. Just like that. Okay? And then the advantage here is now I just start dropping the shoulder for my straight ankle lock. Okay? So I want to drop the shoulder, and I'm going to take this arm off so you can just, here, and I keep going all the way. We can go all the way, right? If you roll, right, you can come all the way here, and I'll put this like here, step up, and you got a half Boston crab, or walls of Jericho, depending on which WWE, WWF generation you're a part of. Okay, so just go up to this side, right? Up, kick that, little scoot, bam, bam, and my foot. There is some debate here. I like having it on this side, here. Some people like to go on this side. You can feel where my foot is here, right? So some people like here. This is a little tighter on this side, but here now is a little bit. It prevents you from moving a little bit. Okay, so I'm much more in favor of this. Okay, so that's it. So we start talking defenses. You're gonna push my leg down, hop over, good, and then just kind of sit up. Push my leg, yeah, sit in. Here, if I still let this leg, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So we go back, we start. Down. So I'll go off the other side. 1, 2 to here. Push the leg down, scoot, yeah, and then you can sit up. Yeah. If I'm smart, I'm gonna let go of it. And if I'm here, there's a lot of separation, right? Just grab my elbow, start attacking, arm lock or something. Yeah. Good. We'll go back. Down. All right. So here, down, here. Push the leg down, step over. Now, if I'm smart, I'm gonna grab the leg, I'll scoot a little bit, kick, switch sides. Okay, so there, right? Push the leg down, control, kick, switch sides. Bam, 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 switching sides back and forth. Okay? Make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay. Here, bam, bam. So straight ankle lock's the most common. You can also play for the heel hook, right? That outside heel hook. No-gi tends to play a little bit more. Obviously, IBJJF rules can't do that to your black belt, but there's that there. If you are going for that, I like to go head down, hip up, dig it out, and then come back. Okay, so that's a nice little one. Yeah, scoot this way a little bit more. So, bam, 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 bam. Okay, so I'm here. And so there's not a ton of submissions. Straight ankle lock, heel hook, outside heel hook, inside heel hook. But that's about it. Toe holds, but you can't get a ton from this position. So if I'm here and I'm going for this ankle lock, one of the fences you're gonna do is you're gonna try to kick your heel out. Yeah, think about making a boot, right? So you get that, okay? And I'm gonna counter that by trying to roll my elbow back. So we talk about getting to your side, that forces that leg out. Okay, so you start getting that, and that's where you get that. So you get the boot. Now, I wanna roll that way. So you're gonna try to tuck this foot under and roll onto your knee on that side. Yes, so now that we're here, now you can boot it by stand up, put that foot on the floor. Yeah. Once this foot's on the floor, I can't ankle lock. Right? So now so from here you can't do a whole lot, but so you're gonna stand up. Yeah. So when you stand up, I'm gonna try to take you that way. Right? I want to take you back that way. So most people are gonna go like even just hands down. You get like this kind of position. This is tough for me here, and you're fairly strong. You've got a decent balance here. I don't have a ton of options. I could go to like double leg X possibly from here, but here, so to escape, you're gonna stand up, push the knee down, and walk through. There. Now you're in the same position as you were before. So go back. Right. Bam. I'm gonna try to take you that way. So this is where the fight's gonna be, and this is where I like this foot here on this side. You go to stand up, and I'm gonna take you that way, hand on the floor, a modified waiter sweep to get you down that way. And then right straight into the ankle lock. Okay, but again, you get to there. Okay. So this is where your battle's gonna be, right? So you're gonna push and then start to go that way. Okay. I have seen when guys are really, really high. I can switch. Okay, start playing with that. Here, I'm gonna push here, out, kick that. Here, cross ash. Down, still the same finish. I have a little more advantage that way. Okay, let's go back this way. So, bam, single leg ashy. Here, and again, controlling that. Bam, you're gonna stand up, and maybe you won't get it. Sometimes we'll just push, come here to cross ashy. Okay. The nice thing about here is I don't give you a lot of options to counter. Right? There's not a ton of things you can do from here. I start playing this cross ashy. I have a little more control over this leg. I got a little more pinch. I got a little more weight that way to keep it down. But now you can start attacking my leg as well. You start like ankle lock, right? Yeah. No, your hands are backwards. Yeah. Toe hold, right? You've also got a heel hook in there, right? Yeah. Or you can attack the other leg, right? Which is a little that way, right? So this is where we start talking about a race, right? So the race here, you've got my ankle, I've got your ankle. Okay, who's gonna win? Nah! It's a race. Okay? Races scare me. And the reason races scare me, ankle locks aren't too bad. When we start playing the heel hooks, and actually the heel hook doesn't work as well with this cross ashy. Maybe it's here. All right, we start playing here, right? I got the heel hook, you got the heel hook, right? This is a race. The loser is both of us, right? So as far as I'm concerned, if you've got it locked here, and this is not a competition, this is playing in the club. If we're here, I've got it on, and you start going for it, right? I'd still consider this a win for me because I'm already in the chalks. I'm ready to, or the blocks, pardon me. I'm ready to go, and you're not even at the starting line. I'm gonna beat you, right? The problem is, we both kind of lock on at the same time. Yeah. The question is, who's gonna let their leg get destroyed more, right? And so, as far as I'm concerned, as soon as, especially just recreational kind of thing. You get to here, it's tap, right? I'm here. The problem I see is I get to here, and people are like, oh no, he's gonna twist my leg, and they go that way. Boom! Blow the knee out, right? Oh, terrible. I go here, you gotta roll this way, right? The problem is we start going there, and I get a little pressure on my knee, but I'm gonna start toe or knee bar or toe hold, right? So it doesn't. You gotta go hard. You gotta know which way to go. Which is again why leg locks tend to be so scary for a lot of people, because if you do it wrong, you're gonna blow your knee apart, right? So that's kind of the thing there. So single leg ashy, bam, bam, right here, right, bam, this way, cross ashy, okay. Again, pretty much straight ankle locks here. I can kind of start fighting the heel hook, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch, come under, and pull the cross. 50-50. Okay. So 50-50s here. Right. This was the right. We both got one leg. Was it the Indian leg wrestling we used to do as kids, right? Native American leg wrestling, whatever it was, the leg wrestling, First Nations. You kind of in that position, right? But again, this is very much you start getting in that race. Boom. Okay. For 50-50, I want to be here. If I can think about having my foot down, right, I can control it. Now it's going to be harder for you to get my foot, right, because it's somewhat hidden, right, and this makes it nice and easy for that, right. You're trying to hide it, right, so I'm going to kind of pull your knee to expose that heel, right. If I'm here, I'm pulling with this knee, and I can pull with my hand to expose that heel hook, okay? That outside heel hook that way. So that's a nice little option that way, okay? But the same sort of principle with skate 50-50. Tuck, drive here, okay? And then the problem with 50-50 is the fight here is harder, right? From Arashi-Do, this knee it's not a cross, so it's easier to push the leg through. With 50-50, I really gotta pop and then top off. Okay. Now, this used to be a problem. It's not so much a problem anymore, but for a while, IBJF, you'd see both guys jump to here, and then you'd spend 4.5 minutes or 5.5 minutes or 7.5 minutes hanging out here, and then I would manage to get you here, and now I'm on top, and that was a sweep. So now I'd get 2 points, and I'd win by 2 points. And it was the most boring matches you've ever seen. Okay? Actually, you can kind of play bam here, get that up, right? And again, so and the fight's the same as single leg ashy. So single leg X, we'll come back to that, right? But so when I was dealing with Ashley and I go to stand up and pass, right, same thing. Put this hand on the floor, right? Waiters, like a waiter. Hips up, hips up, hips up. There it is. There. And now you're up here, right? Take them over to your heel hook. Okay. While I'm thinking about it, bam, bam, bam. Right, I'm going for it. Stand up right away. Here. So this. Stand all the way up. Yeah. Take a step backwards. There we go. Single leg X. Okay. My legs are kind of making an X around his leg here. Double leg X. Going across. Single leg X here. Okay. When I take them down, okay, my feet haven't moved. But this is extra. Okay. So single leg X and Ashi-Do are the same position, just one standing, one on the ground. So far, so good? Yeah. Okay. If you hear, just while I'm thinking about reaping, and this is an IBJJF rule, which the IBJJF is very much about safety. Okay, so when you think about IBJJF rules, think about safety, and the rules make a lot more sense. Okay, reaping is a controversial one. So if I'm here, okay, this is fine. Okay, this is not. Okay, so if I'm here, my leg cannot cross your leg outside to inside. Okay, inside to outside is fine, but outside to inside is not fine. It's this lateral pressure on the knee. Okay, and I think I'm very much okay with it because I've seen enough guys where people go like this and they get their knee blown out. So it's like, hey, I work, I'm 35, I work in an office, and now I got a blown out knee for the next 6 months. So that sucks. Okay, so the idea is protect that knee. As a side note, anytime you're not allowed to reap, you're not allowed to heel hook either. Okay, so be aware of that. This is fine. Okay, this is fine. Right, this is fine. Okay, switch legs here. One of the interesting things is if I'm holding the leg and I go across, that's reaping. That's not reaping. Correct. Okay, so this is honeycomb. Or 4-1-1. One little position that way. Bam. But just being aware of that, that reaping that way, and I've seen it. If you stand up, I've seen this a bunch of times. I do a broom sweep, and then you cross your ankles to try to stop me from coming up. Like, oh my gosh, you're gonna blow your knees apart. Okay, so just be super aware of that one. If you are, the nice thing is the rules are not, especially like the lower belts, are not super strict. If you're going for an ankle lock and you reap, then you're gonna get disqualified. If something like that, where you're just like, stop, the ref's just gonna stop, right? Give you a finger wag, slap on the wrist, don't do that, and then it really starts. It's not a penalty, it's more of a safety thing. So there's no, all right, if you're going for an ankle lock, okay, you're smart enough to understand what it is, what the risks are, okay, you're gonna get disqualified. But if you're just throwing it up there, stop, don't do that. So it's kind of nice that way where they don't have it. And the detail, if I've got your left leg here, okay, so if you have a line right in the middle of the hip, okay, my toes cannot go past it, is the idea. So when we do Arashi-Do here, that's part of the reason why the heel's there, okay, because now my toes are not going past that line, okay. This, in some ways, is easier. It's not, it feels bad for me because I've been playing the other way for so long, but a lot of people find this is easier, but now you've got those toes going across the center line. Here, right now my toes are not across the center line, but I've still got a little more control. But again, because the way my leg works and blah, 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 it's better. So this is fine, this is not. If you grab my foot and push it across and then tap or go, right, that is an unsportsmanlike conduct for you and you get disqualified. Because that's happened too for a while, where guys were pushing the leg across and then going, and drawing the penalty. And that happened for about 6 months, and the refs started calling it unsportsmanlike conduct and disqualifying the other guy. Like, yes, I like it. So I was very happy with that. So you've got that nice little. So that's one of the things to worry about that way.
I was looking at armbar from 50-50. I don't know if that you doing it wrong, or is there arm bars from there?
No,
question.
Not really. It's tough because the legs there, you can pinch. Maybe The cry angle is pretty much the only thing you probably could hit, but that's you only hit that on super flexible angle anyways.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're in 50-50, you gotta play feet. There's no point in playing arm locks or anything like that.
That's just like to get us in the process of learning like lots of stuff before going to purple where you can do lots more.
Yeah, and again, I'm very much in favor of learning stuff right away. What you compete with and what you train with should be the same. But I mean, if you're a blue belt and then all of a sudden a purple belt, you can leg lock and you run leg locks, this is a whole new world. You're gonna be in trouble. I want you to understand it so that you're ready to go. And quite frankly, on the flip side, I want to practice leg locks. So I want you to be able to do leg locks with me so I can control leg locks. So there's a little bit of that in there too. But even still, and IBJJF is the biggest and the most common rule set, but it's not the only rule set. Okay, there's different rule sets, EBI or ADCC or things like that. Even the MMA guys are like, yeah, white belts can leg lock. Right? And with there's a bunch of guys that are coming up, they do leg locks from day 2. Like day 1, you're probably doing breakfast. Day 2, okay, doing leg locks. Partially because they don't have a gi, there's less options, so they're going to be a little more detailed on the options they do have. Whereas gi, there's just so many different options to play with. You don't get to hit all of them as often, but don't ignore half the bodies. 5-8 years ago now, I guess probably what it was. You really saw Gary Tolan and Gordon Ryan coming up, and Eddie Cummings was in there as well, where they just murdered everybody with leg locks. And it's like, what's going on? It's really becoming a full system, and you have to know it to understand it. If you don't, you're just kind of left behind. And that's kind of the problem and that's really the thing. And it's don't run away yet. Okay. Sounds good. But that's it. And this is probably John Danaher's very sort of contribution to the leg locks. And these guys used to leg locks before John Danaher. Oh, I can't remember his name now. I can think of. I got it in my head, but I can't remember his name now. Oh, I can picture him. But for he was Danaher doing a seminar. He's like, why do you want to ignore 50% of the human body, right? Why do you ignore the legs? And when you think about jiu-jitsu and you think about Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the hierarchy of positions, the goal is to get to mount or rear mount. So the guy, you're fully controlling them, they can't punch you, you have complete domination over them. The problem with legs is there was no real position where you can do that with legs, right? It was basically jump and crank on something until they tapped. Ashi Basics, any of this 50-50, blah, blah, it wasn't there. You just kind of like, whoa, there's a leg! And I'm sure you can see how people would get hurt very quickly. With Danaher, he really was able to take and craft here's a system, step 1, step 2, step 3, get to here, here's this, here's the counter. And really control. And have control and be able to control someone and slow their progress and counteract their attacks and things like that. So they were and that's where it was able to grow, right? And Eddie Bravo had some of it, but it was nowhere near the sophistication level that John Danaher had it. And granted, I don't know that for 100% sure, but Danaher was definitely better at being able to have it. I know some people are definitely turned off with Eddie Bravo's naming conventions. I'm not saying it's a bad system. Some of the naming conventions are a little unorthodox, but John Danaher was very able, and then obviously just, Eddie Cummings and Gary Tonin and Gordon Ryan to use those in high level competition. Obviously made a big difference that way. So we're really seeing, we're sort of the tail end of that shift where it's like, okay, if you're not on board, you got it, because you're going to be left behind. You got to get the leg locks, you got to get this, you got to, right? And that being said, Master Sparring talks about knee barring some guy when he was 15 in Brazil 35 years ago, right? Like 84 or something like that. So like they've been around, they changed and adjusted, but no, he was being leg locked and he escaped it. Was the story. I'm not going to go through that story, but it's that definitely having the leg locks in control is it's important. It's important nowadays.
Thanks. That's right.
Hopefully you got enough video for now.
Yeah, that's good.
So for the most part, is that we'll do a couple things from